This material is for information purpose only. However, no update service will be furnished to maintain current revision. It cannot be relied upon to perform any maintenance task on the aircraft or to meet safety or regulatory requirements. Please do use the current revision and effectivity of aircraft maintenance manual prior to carrying out any maintenance task respectively.
There are several ways to communicate on the aircraft. They are through hand mics, radio push-to-talk switches, boom sets, oxygen mask microphones, and cockpit handset. They are controlled through audio management unit. It is an LRU box which is located in avionics bay. We also have VHF and HF transceiver boxes to manage communications. But in this presentation, we are just going to discuss briefly about each button functions on the associated radio management panel and audio control panels. Let's have a look in the next slides. Audio control panel location. The ACPs are located on the control pedestal. The captain, first officer, and jump seat positions all have audio control panels numbered 1 through 3. The ACPs provide the transmission and reception of all communication, standby navigation, interphone, flight and cabin, and passenger address, PA, systems. When a transmission button is pressed, it selects the associated radio for transmission and at the same time, deselects the previously selected radio. Selection is indicated by illumination of 3 green lights. The transmission keys all have call lights that illuminate with selective calling on the VHF and HF radios. VHF or HF, when pressed, allows communication on applicable transceiver. Call flashes when a cell call is received on the applicable radio. CAB, when pressed, allows communication on the cabin interphone system. ATT flashes when a call is received from a flight attendant station. Light extinguishes after 60 seconds if not reset. INT, when pressed, allows communication on the flight interphone system. MEC flashes when a call is received from the external service interphone panel. The reception knobs allow for receiving associated channels and adjust audio levels. When the knob is released out, the respective channel is selected and the knob illuminates. The INT or radio switch operates as a press-to-talk switch for boom or oxygen mask microphones. INT, the interphone is hot between pilots, regardless of transmission button selection. The INT knob must be selected for reception. Neutral, when the switch is selected to neutral it disconnects microphones from transmission. Reception is normal. RAD, when the switch is selected to radio communication position. PA button is used for PA transmission via boom, oxygen mask, or hand mic. The transmission button must be pressed and held to use the PA system. When the reset button is selected, it resets call, MEC, and ATT lights on the transmission buttons. When the on voice button is selected it inhibits ADF and VOR ident signals, and illuminates the on label a green color when pressed. Transfer button. The transfer button when pushed, exchanges the active and standby frequencies, and tunes the new active frequency. Standby or CRS frequency display. The standby communication frequency is normally displayed in this window. This frequency is changed by rotating the frequency selector knob and is activated by pushing the transfer button. The CRS is displayed when a navigation radio is remotely tuned. The transfer button when pushed, exchanges the active and standby frequencies, and tunes the new active frequency. Active frequency display. The active or selected radio frequency is displayed on this window. The selected radio is identified by the illuminated green color radio selection button. A communication radio is normally displayed in this window, however, a navigation radio and course can be remotely tuned. The frequency selector knob allows for dialing in the desired frequency or course in the standby or CRS window. The on or off switch controls the power supply to the radio management panel. When a RMP has failed or is turned off, RMP3 passes through the failed or off panel and is connected directly to the selected transceiver. When a radio normally related to an RMP is tuned by another RMP, the cell light comes on white or amber on both RMPs. When a radio selection button is pushed, the active window displays the tuned frequency and the standby or CRS window displays the standby frequency. The selected radio button displays a green color light that identifies the selected radio. The MEC button initiates a call to ground personnel. When pushed, the cockpit call light illuminates on the external service interphone panel, and an external horn sounds. When released, the external horn is silenced. The cockpit call light remains illuminated until the reset switch, located on the external service interphone panel, is pushed. The calls panel allows the cockpit to initiate calls to the flight attendants via the cabin interphone system and the mechanic via the flight interphone system. The flight interphone system provides communication between the cockpit and the external service interphone panel located at the nose gear. The cabin interphone system provides communication between the cockpit, flight attendant stations, and various external locations on the aircraft. Reset is achieved when the flight attendant hangs up the handset or by cycling the emergency call switch from on to off. On, when the EMER call switch is selected on. The on light flashes. The call light flashes. A pink light flashes at all flight attendant area call panels. An emergency call message appears on all flight attendant indication panels. A high or low chime sounds through all loudspeakers. Forward or aft, when the forward or aft call button is pushed. A pink light illuminates at the corresponding flight attendant area call panel. A captain call message appears on the corresponding flight attendant indication panel. A high or low chime sounds through the corresponding loudspeaker. The recorder panel consists of a cockpit voice recorder, CVR, and digital flight data recorder, DFDR, controls. On the ground, the cockpit voice recorder automatically energizes for 5 minutes after electrical power application or continuously if at least one engine is running. It operates continuously in flight. The system stops automatically 5 minutes after the last engine is shut down. Selecting the ground control switch to on energizes both the CVR and DFDR. On, the on function energizes the cockpit voice recorder, CVR, and digital flight data recorder, DFDR. This function is used to test the CVR and DFDR. The CVR and DFDR are automatically energized during the following. On the ground for the first 5 minutes following electrical power application. On the ground with at least one engine running. Continuously in flight regardless if engines are operating. The CVR and DFDR both stop automatically 5 minutes after the last engine is shut down. When the erase button is pushed for 2 seconds, it erases the CVR tape, provided the airplane is on the ground and the parking brake handle is on. The cockpit voice recorder is located in the aft section of the airplane, and is equipped with an underwater locating beacon. The system records direct conversations between crew members through a cockpit area microphone and boom microphones, oral cockpit warnings, intercommunications, and radio transmissions. The passenger address system is also recorded if the PA reception knob is selected on. Only the last 30 minutes of recording is retained. When pushed and held, the CVR test is activated provided the CVR is energized and the parking brake handle is on. During the test, a low frequency tone is heard through the cockpit loudspeakers.